How's it going, everybody? It's been a while. It's been a month and change because we both got hideously ill.
Several times.
Several times. It's been a rough couple months. But we're back, and I am joined by my lovely boyfriend.
Hello.
Who is a comic artist and an art teacher and has a lot of insight, and I am showing him Magneto.
Ooh.
Everybody's favorite X-Men supervillain.
Right? He's always had such a great design with like kind of like this Roman like helmet thing going on, but why did they make him shit brick house all of a sudden?
Well, because he's a tank.
He was just like, never again, and then he just bench pressed his way to make that reality.
Uh-huh. Now, this is his default costume. He's got a few recolors, but this is his default costume, which I personally think is the default costume so they can sell more skins, because I don't think gray really works for him.
I know, it's like, where's the purple? It's like a little bit as an accent, but it's like, usually he has like a kind of a neutral color, like a gray or a black, and it's like purple, you know? Which I think fits for what his character is supposed to be, because he is a villain, but he's a villain who's sympathetic in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Magneto became an anti-hero because every year it gets harder and harder to pretend that a Holocaust survivor trying to prevent a second genocide is unsympathetic, even if he's evil.
Yeah, and so like purple being traditionally like a color that's associated with royalty, even in like, because it's a hard pigment historically to make, so it obviously was usually given to people who had a higher status, so it's just, you know, purple's just a classic color. And then, funnily enough, purple is just kind of used for villains across the board anyway. Like purple, green tends to be pretty popular, sometimes oranges.
Hulk, the most iconic villain in the Marvel Rivals cast.
Well, I'm just saying as like a general motif. Like Disney villains do this a ton. Like
True.
Maleficent is all purple and green. Other villains will have like a purple motif or green or red. He's pretty popular too, but I'm not saying that's universal. It's just like a common trope in shorthand.
Excuse me.
And I also just kind of like the purple because I always feel like he's like a kind of he's working beneath or the underground. He's not like in the front. He's not doing things in the front like I'm going to change the laws and make things safer. He's like, yeah, that's all bullshit. I don't trust the government because for reasons that are really obvious.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to take this into our own hands and fight the fight. So red and silver. Red's kind of a weird color to put on him in my opinion. I don't hate it though, because I kind of like the framing of the face, but it feels like it's not an iconic color that I would associate with him very much.
Well, his most iconic outfit is red and purple, but red and silver looks weird.
Because like, at least as far as other Marvel heroes that use this kind of color palette, like this feels like it's more in like the hero realm. You know, like, I imagine characters like, you know, if you take the blue off of Captain America, like Falcon, I think, has a similar color palette.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, Thor has a similar... Well, he has more colors, but, you know, he associates a lot of red and metal colors with him. So it's kind of interesting, because there was a lot of space to play with more color on here, and they didn't.
Yeah, they really didn't.
It's very, very sparse, but... you can kind of see what they did do with color, though, because the red accents just kind of make like a bit of a connected stripe across the midriff. You have a focal point in the face, and then there's like another smaller accent on the feet. And that's it. Keep it simple.
Yep.
Kind of an interesting thing, though. They did an asymmetrical arm, which is a little unexpected.
Well, they've never said why they always have his left arm covered, but we'll get into why I think they always have his left arm covered in a later skin.
Okay.
And it'll be... we've never had it confirmed, but I think it'll be blatantly obvious why they had his left arm covered.
I think it's just interesting that it's only left arm, not left and right.
Yeah.
Because you can still see a lot of the muscles. So I'm like, are they just like, yes, let's give some fan service in the other arm, show him some skin? Because it kind of feels that way. Yeah, let me see if I can break down some other things they got going on. Because they do have the left arm, so there's a little bit of asymmetry on the opposite side of the arm, where there's kind of like this belt flap thing coming off the side.
Yep.
Which is kind of interesting, because that looks like a buckle belt, but then the flap tells me, like, strapped belt, so I'm not sure what that is.
It kind of looks like one of those ones where you just insert, like, a car seat belt.
Yeah, and you pull the strap to tighten it, but then the rest of the belt is not built like that. Nor does that pattern seem to be repeated, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's odd. Covered in X's, though.
Yeah, and then he has a little X medallion on the same side, too. There's another piece of asymmetry. I think that's kind of it, though, for the asymmetry. Everything else is repeated on both sides, pretty even, except for, like, battle damage. Which is actually kind of cool idea to put a ton of battle damage. I know they're putting him as a tank unit in this game's version of the universe. But it's just kind of interesting, so it kind of tells a story of, like, he's been, like, in battles for a long, long time, and his armor is, like, picking up all this extra damage.
Yeah, I really like the cut across his eye plate.
Yeah, so like to me, it doesn't just like scream like tank, but also screams like this is a person who's had a lot of encounters and just he's been at the fight for a long time. Like it has a history. He could tell some stories.
Yep. He's also old as shit. Look at that beard.
Yeah, too. I think it's like I know he's always like an older character because he's supposed to be like the same age, I think, as Xavier or thereabouts. But here he's like even older than that. He's very gray and grizzled.
He's had some kind of immortality treatment in the comics a couple of times, I think. Which is why a guy who was 8 years old in 1945 is still alive and kicking.
I know. You can imagine he's like, I'm really pissed off now. Neo-Nazis, what the hell are those? This is some bullshit. One
thing that I don't think he's ever been portrayed with, though, is the ring behind his head, which I believe is his ammo. Yeah. I haven't played much Magneto.
It kind of looks like, like he's carrying some additional metal with him and not just using the environment, which would make sense for this kind of game because you don't want to, like, just, he has to be next to a building or, someone throw some metal at him.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm just bringing my metal from home. Metal from home. Giant ring. It's cool it's animated, so it kind of shows his abilities.
Yep.
There's also some cool stuff going on with the way the cape's attached. It's like little evil faces that I see with the little... It's supposed to be a random design, but I see little eyeballs like kind of evil foxes.
I can see it.
I wonder if the symbol on the back is like a new symbol with him or an old one.
I think it's the Krakoa symbol, which is the island nation the X-Men founded. But I'm not sure. I'm not up on current X-Men lore.
Yeah, so I'm not sure with that one. Yeah, so color-wise, this is so flat. Like, I'm not really a fan of the silver, I think, but I'm not gonna go...
It's so bland.
It's a little bland, but I'm gonna go past that and actually pick apart the forms in this design, because there is some cool stuff going on in that, I think. Because one thing I do like is, like, there's kind of these repeated circle shapes across the chest. So there's, like, a big center one, and there's, like, two... It's not slightly, like, very slightly smaller, but similar. And they're sharing that same design thing, so we share it. I think the chain feels a little medieval for him. I don't know if I would have just left it off or used some other, like, shape to connect those. But if it was gone, I would have believed that those stay connected. Because, it's kind of part medieval armor, part, like, military gear.
Yeah.
And then they're cutting, like, this is kind of cool, too. I like what they're doing with the chest shapes, because those repeated rib lines on the side are, like, a lot like the muscle groups that connect with the ribs on the chest. Like, there's an echo of it there, just more abstracted. And I think that's a really fun idea to keep his physique, but still make it a piece of clothing. So you're in your mind, you can kind of, as this character is going to move, you can kind of see it as, like, the muscle groups. And I think it's even doing that on the legs, because there's these bigger, longer swishes. Because there's this big tendon that kind of comes off the hip, and it actually attaches to the knee. So in this case, again, they're abstracting it a little bit, but the starting point is the same. but then there's kind of a gray spot that goes the other direction.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that's giving a lot of dimension to the calf muscles and making them feel very 3D. Let's see, he's got the giant pauldron syndrome. Which I like, knowing the context he's supposed to be a tank, I think fits with what they want this character to be. But like, my mind is always like, this character is intellectual, so I never think tank when I think Magneto. I think like, you know, strong person, but not physically. I think more like his strength is in his reasoning.
Yeah, this is an octogenarian. Like,
It's like different things. It's like this one, he's got like all of the things. He's, you know, intelligent, strong. You know, it's like really interesting. And like, I think that's kind of a thing with the comics and the TV and appearances too and film, is that people look down upon him because they do see a person who doesn't strike an opposing figure. He has that strength because of his powers, which are like really pretty dangerous, but it's not usually reflected in his physique, so it's supposed to be more of a surprise. This is a guy who definitely looks like he could take you out. Maybe he was tired of the allegations and he's like, I gotta hit the gym because I'm tired of these bullshit. Because like, this is supposed to be an older version of him compared to some of the other versions that I'm more familiar with.
this is the Magneto that beat Red Skull to death with his bare hands.
I'm kind of looking at what they did with the boots too, because it's again kind of like partially medieval, partially it's a little rounded, a lot more like modern shoes. So I kind of see a mix of match of both, and like the big knee pads kind of just remind me more of sports gear. They are doing some cool things though, where they have areas of some areas have really small details, like around the kneecaps, there's these repeated lines, and then you have bigger areas like the size of the calves or like the front of the like pec area and other bigger areas. So we have this combination of big versus small and detailed. And because the small detailed areas don't have a lot of value contrast, they're pretty much just the same, just slightly different. They don't take or distract away from other things. Yeah, I'm always impressed with like the way they can take these big shapes and cut smaller complex ones into it and create these nice rhythms. Because like the kneecap one, I just noticed there's like big shape and then onto the boot, medium, small. It's like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then they have like this nice sense of movement on like what I was talking earlier with the calves, with those longer, and they're wider lines too, so they can, if that was a smaller one like they did on the ribs or right here where they're skinnier, the one here is like they made it into a big stripe so that it takes more visual attention. It makes you really feel the movement. And they all connect into each other. So like that calf one, when it goes up, it connects to that big piece on the pec area. You know, once it goes under the belt, and then it goes up into the chest, where we have big, kind of, that big part of the chest piece going underneath the arms. It's like swooping upwards, and then they put a ton of weight on the top of this, because they have like big, like large sections of armor, especially like the ones with the round pieces. Like that's huge. And then like big pauldrons, so they're building up the bulk as they go up too.
1 sec, I'm going to mute the mic for 3 seconds. Okay, back.
Let's see. I noticed he has like a bit of a silver medallion on the front, and that big gash actually cuts off one section of it. That's a really subtle piece of asymmetry. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's see. I was thinking about taking a look on the back of this outfit just to see if there's anything that we could see with it there. But it's kind of tough when he has such a giant cape.
His back, not the cape. Yeah, no, we can't see anything.
Yeah, because I was going to see if they did stuff with the belt and things that I could maybe see. Or other parts of the outfit, but we're really not going to get a great view of that.
That's the best I can do, I think.
Yeah. I was looking at the cape, though. The cape has kind of a big center section, and then there's kind of a section where they go out in a geometric pattern. That's kind of a cool little addition, because it makes it feel like the cape is wide. I mean, it already is, but they're using that kind of visual wideness to create this illusion of it's even bigger or rounder than it actually is. Because they could do this big wide cape, but at some point it'll look a little unrealistic if you keep going wider and wider. So we do like little tricks like that, because that little middle section is now technically looking wider than the top and bottom sections where that line goes in a little narrower. And then they kind of repeat it with a couple smaller lines. The one here too, the one that's making the smaller section, actually cuts back in too towards the bottom, so you get this kind of L shape on the outside of the cape. So like, I think what that's doing for me is like, instead of being like a big rectangle on the back, their back, because if they shape this without doing that, it just kind of looked that way. It gives some dimension and curves to it that aren't actually there. But in our brain, it'll make it be like, oh, the big area is obviously closer, and the littler areas are might be curved away or taking less visual attention. Ooh, I just noticed something cool on the back though. His collar has little X's on it, or not little, they're big X's.
Oh yeah.
On the back. That's like super medieval though, the way they did this. It's like big gauntlet armor. They have the same kind of a similar motif on the bracelets on the gauntlet too.
And a big X on the back of the gauntlet.
Yeah.
In red and black.
In red and black. Good catch. I didn't catch that one. But it is like a big X. It's kind of fun too how they try to hide a few of them too. Like some of them are super obvious and there's like more subtle ones, but that's just a way of sharing that design language. So I think with this one they're doing the X-Men things. There's a lot of crisscross X's, hidden or obvious, and then the other one I think they're using a lot of round, because I see like the belts have round, the tops have round. It's fun, and even the bracelets have little round circles on it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a great way if you're trying to design your own characters to pick some design motifs that you're going to be consistent about. So like circles and X's, and then they go from there and get more complex than that. But that'll help tie stuff together when you're drawing like these weird kind of trapezoids and cutting them apart and stuff, is to have some shapes that are going to tie it all together by the end. The purple is kind of a neat effect on him too, because it's so eye-catching, but it's the only bit of purple on this particular skin.
Oh, when he exercises his powers, you mean?
Yeah, when he uses his powers. For some reason, when you're farther away, when you're zoomed out, he holds his hand out and he has like this big purple one. I don't know why. He has like a different pose than when you're zoomed in. But yeah, so it's kind of funny because like they know purple is his color, but they're like, yeah, but let's not put it on the skin. Let's just have it in the powers. Kind of nice though. I think it's a little more subtle in the color, which is probably going to help it mesh with the skins later.
Yeah.
Since it doesn't get super bright. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that one that I can point out.
All right, well, he has not one, not two, but three recolors of this costume.
Okay.
Here's his default one, which I think is somehow worse than the silver.
Huh. What in the world have they done? Because there's like... What's throwing me off is the blue accents, because they don't seem to make a lot of sense.
Yeah?
And they're really subtle, so it's hard to pick them out at first, but there's blue kneecaps with a little bit of blue on the side piece of the boot. There's blue on the top section of that belt, blue on the medallion, and I think in the right light the X's are blue, but if you're turned they're not kind of gray.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, but is there blue on the top besides the medallion? Because that seems like a weird thing to do. I mean, it's a really subtle accent color, but I'm confused why they're using it if they're not bringing it into the outfit in a more ordered way.
The eyebrows on his buckles on his back are blue.
Yeah. I was just going by the way he looks from the front. Maybe they were trying to do the thing where they do it gets more desaturated and less colorful towards the bottom, but that came out the opposite way.
Yeah.
I feel like with some tweaks, this could have been in like a cool, like midnight dark version of the silver outfit. They do have more silver on the top section of the outfit, but it's mostly across his chest, which feels like a weird place to try to draw your eye, because you would normally think you'd be trying to draw the eye up to the face. Oh man, can you imagine if they kept the red on this purple?
Yeah, it would be cool.
You know, so like you could frame the face in red, and then maybe like all silver or all dark on the top, or maybe like that blue color or whatever. Or something. There's just a weird, kind of a weird balance here that's... And like the silver accents are kind of like mostly across the middle, frames the face, but it's not contrasting. It's a little contrast in value, but the way it is on the face, because the face is already kind of peachy, it's not contrasting that much, more so than the bigger silver areas on the top of him. And then we have a little teeny tiny on the belt, some in the thigh area, and then some accents on the toes. And like that's a weird section of that costume to contrast, I feel like, because it doesn't add a lot to me. Like if I was gonna pick a section, like maybe the sides of the thighs or that stripe on the side or something, but just that one section looks a little weird. Yeah, the middle section I think kind of looks good because there's kind of these silvery bits, the dark purple, but just the middle. I think it's just they either needed to pick different areas to contrast or not contrast. It feels kind of oddly haphazard.
Yeah.
It's like I want to love it because I think the color palette is actually pretty good. I just think the execution is a little all over the place.
Well.
Like my first impression is it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of all over the place, how do you feel about Galacta?
No, why are the Galacta skins always like this? Oh my gosh. I hate the Galactic palette. It's so rough. I think that the biggest issue with the Galacta palette is like every one of the three accent colors is the star, and therefore they all try to vie for center stage. Mm-hmm. So you don't know where to go.
They actually just released an Invisible Woman Galacta skin that I think is one of the first good Galacta skins, but
this one though, given the assignment, it could be worse. I do kind of like the teal accent on the helmet and just the chain and the medallion. That feels kind of fun because it does feel kind of like neon glowy.
Uh-huh.
But I always hate that warm like purple magenta color when it's paired directly to that blue violet. Like it's something about it. Like I wish that the magenta would just be more harmonious, like if it was just purple and less pink, or the blue violet could be more towards a warmer tone or something. Because I feel like Galacta, especially Galactus, like typically they do a dark, and this blue isn't dark, it's kind of a medium. They usually do like a dark blue or purple for his helmet and like the dark accents, and then they'll do a lighter magenta purple for like the light accents and then skin tone. I don't know where they're getting the cyan from. I really don't.
Yeah.
That might actually fix a lot of these designs. What if they took the cyan out and made it a neutral, like a black or a white? Because like the black on the magenta doesn't look too bad. Even on this color, it doesn't look too bad. But I have issues with this color palette because I love black light neon stuff since I was little. I don't have a lot of it now, but I love like the glow in the dark stars, the neon posters and stuff.
Chris, you say you don't have a lot of it now, but you have a black light set up on the windowsill so that you can shine it on the glowy stars on the ceiling in our bedroom.
I didn't say I didn't have zero of it. I just don't have a lot. I don't have all the neon posters and things. But in any case, like when I see this color palette, especially with that blue violet, like my brain wants to think it's a black light palette, but it's not quite right. Even the teal, I don't know if it was just like a different neon color that would fit. I don't know. Like, part of me is like, okay, you want it bright and colorful, make it more like a black light palette. Or, you know, so that the skin tones and everything else follow through. And like, I'd be game for that. It'd feel like it was in space. Because I always associate it with like glow-in-the-dark stars and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I want to say good things, but the palette always throws me off so bad. He has a texture on this cape, though, which I don't think was on the other one. At least I didn't notice. Is it just
I think it is. Well, let's check.
Is it just because this is a Galactus skin?
Oh, you're right. It's not there. It's just for the Galactus skin.
And you see, that's the purple I think should be in place of the magenta, possibly. Because that meshes better. Or just use this purple and magenta could be the accent color instead of cyan. I don't know. This has gotta be something better. It's just gotta be. They can't keep doing this. I don't know. How many Galactus skins do you see when you play?
Very rarely.
Very. Which is wild because
they're free.
Well, not that they're free, but just that this is like a major character in the Marvel universe. So you would think a skin themed on that character, even the daughter of Galactus, which I think is like what their Galactus skins are supposed to be.
Yep.
Would still be insanely popular, but everyone else apparently agrees or just doesn't want to use free skins, one of the two, but that the color palette just doesn't mesh. I guess I get mad, so I'm like, I want to like the, daughter of the Space Lord Destroyer skin, but it doesn't look like a Space Lord Destroyer when they put those colors together.
Yep.
It makes me sad. Imagine if they did like space, galaxy textures and stuff instead of this. That would be cool, like nebulas and stuff. Like
yeah.
The NASA images. I don't know, it's painful. Make it go away.
All right. Final recolor.
I'm a bee. But this one looks pretty cool, honestly.
Magneto.
It's actually pretty nicely balanced, too, because if you look at how they're sectioning the different areas, and he had a lot to kind of mess with, because there's lots of little lines and things, but they're like, let's just, because they're like, okay, limited color palette challenge, let's go. Big section of yellow on the ribs, big section of yellow. Like I was saying before, connect all those round pieces together into one section. I told you, I called it, a big section.
Yep.
I said the thing. Even the arm is a big chunk of yellow with like black gloves. This is really nicely balanced. This artist you can keep. Get rid of the other guy. Or give him some tutors. Like, this guy knew what the assignment. And there's a lovely play of just subtle value changes on the grays. Because there's like that kind of big lines that we were talking about in the thighs. And this artist is like, okay, let's put a little bit of darker black next to slightly lighter black, so that they're not high contrast like the yellow, but it gives a little bit of interest and dimension, so it's not just flat like a discus. And that's also bringing out some of the colors too, and the brushwork thing that they do on some of these costumes, which I didn't comment a whole lot of yet because I noticed there was a few like stray lines in his default costume, but I love these big patches of purple and blue that they're putting on here. Again, just making this costume really colorful. And they're doing the same thing in the yellow sections. I see like a patch of like blue or green here and red. Yeah, zoom in, so you can see it. Oh, and it's shiny too. This is lit. I just realized that the yellow has shiny like it's gold. Oh, and there's some play too on the yellows, I just noticed. Because underneath, directly under the pecs and the rib area, there's like a bronze yellow. And his belt is more of a light golden yellow. And they're doing the same thing on this arm too. It's not skin, it's that lighter yellow. Yeah, this one's just nice. Also, I love the reversing the values on the helm, so that the helm is this big eye-catching gold with the black as a border. Because if he was keeping with like kind of the other ways the outfits had been done, they would have done like a yellow outline, which probably would have been fine, but this looks great.
Oh yeah.
And brings a bigger chunk of yellow to the whole ensemble of the kind of neck area. Not sure what to call that piece because that's so unrealistic. Could be like the little medallions that hold or guard the pauldrons on medieval armor.
Great big screws.
Something. But it's fun. And then they bring the gold into his power kind of halo behind him. That's fun too. Yeah, and the cape they just kind of keep simple. This is simple and really effective. This is really cool and good looking.
Yeah, this one looks great. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the glowy green eyes, but
yeah, but I kind of forgot to mention those, but there are some like teal, almost green accents. But there's the thing, like the greenish thing makes it closer to yellow, so that's harmonizing the color palette. So we are using like a teal green color, but teal green is closer to yellow than just teal itself or any other color. And you could do that a lot if like, okay, I want a punch color that's not anywhere else in my color palette, but I also don't want it to be like, ew, pink tie, right? So you could do a thing like, okay, well, next to yellow, we could do red or orange, or we can go green, right? And so like they could have done like reddish eyes too, and then it would stay in the warm color family. But I do like this idea of using a cooler color, because I think a lot of the grays and yellows are kind of like a warm versus cool going on. And it's not used a lot, but I really like it. Even the medallion feels kind of fun because they punched it up in value, so it almost seems like it's a little glowy medallion. And it shines too in certain light. I just realized when you spin them, it'll get like lighter. Like there it's dark and it gets shiny. I thought it was actually just glowing because we had that like certain angle where the light's on it right there. But no, it's actually reflective. This has a great use of material too. It's like very dimensional, and the fabrics and stuff feel weird. Not like the Galacta skin where nothing feels real. And it looks like they got mobbed at like a terrible like dance party. Yeah, this one's really good.
Definitely is best to default skin.
Yeah, and like usually I don't have a lot to say on default skins because some of them are kind of like okay, but I kind of prefer the default better. But this one's really nice. It's like a fun recolor, and it's great if it's like you're a fan of having those like yellow and black, race car kind of vibes. Did you want Magneto, but did you want him to be like the Transformer Bumblebee? Well, do we have the skin for you?
All right, up next is their take on classic Magneto's skin.
Okay. I'm only laughing because I just love the kind of big, bulky look, but they're trying to mesh it with the Marvel look, and it's a little interesting. Because that older style is kind of charming, but it's really out of style by today's design standards. And they shaved him.
They gave him horns, too, which a lot of people don't like.
They don't like the horns.
Oh, they've got little sketch lines on the horns.
Yeah. I was also noticing how there's like these big shapes in the mask, too, that are like on the side of the helm that are kind of accenting that shape again, too. I really like that. I might steal that idea. Oh, there's some fun material choices, too, because there's kind of like this shiny kind of... it's like that military fabric, but enlarged.
Kevlar?
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of like a Kevlar texture, but bigger. So we'll just say future science material not known to today's world. Bullet protective fabric. One of the things that catches me is like the big giant collar and the big kind of floating pauldrons, because that was such a thing back when. Because they wanted to make these big... We have Dorito body now, but like the previous version that was like Dorito King, because it was just like huge pauldrons that stick out of the sides. Like, they hit some doorways with those dang things. And gigantic capes, because the longer your pauldron, the more you could like make the cape even bigger. That's the only thing they didn't do, is they needed the cape to go right to the edge of the pauldrons and just flow off of it. Because all you see from the back is just cape. That would have been more period accurate. But it's kind of cool seeing them kind of mix, because this is definitely still very Marvel Rivals styled. I love all this texture and stuff in the cape, too. They're like these kind of circuitry patterns, and they shine. And so they got light on dark and dark on light. There's a fade out towards the bottom to a lighter color of purple. Plus this big emblem that looks 3D and holographic.
Truly the rarest pull.
I know, right? He's fancy and he's ready for the drag race. They do the poofy hair too. How do people feel about the poofy hair? The horns that they're like, nah, horns can't be there, but the poofy hair can stay.
Well, the poofy hair is just like canon. Magneto's got long, luxurious hair.
Yeah, it's just the anti-gravity effect on it, I guess. It's getting me.
Lovingly feathered, long, luxurious hair.
Lovingly feathered. Let's zoom out a little bit and get the big picture because I got caught up in some of the details. But one of the things I'm noticing right off the bat is there's this big center shape on the chest and torso, because they actually cut away from the collar, which is already super wide, just to keep that shape going. And it's creating these great sections to kind of give abstract shapes, because this is not really following muscle groups as much. So much it's like we need to create big graphic design comic book shapes, and I get that too in like the same fabric treatment on the shoulders going into the arms, because to me, like, it feels like there's like a glove on top of that material and then some armor. I wish I could describe it better, because like the big thick bold lines really does scream like Saturday morning cartoon villain waking up early and just seeing like the most insane people try to destroy the world.
Which, it's Magneto, that should be what he evokes.
So I'm just loving like using these bigger shape languages that were more common then, because early comic books, or earlier, you know, we print in color more in more detail now, but the ones where we were printing in plate colors, where people had to actually hand cut like the colorways, so that's why a lot of heroes are like 2 colors at most, and sometimes they'll do a color on top of another, but that's why the Hulk is like green with purple shorts, is because they're printing black lines, and then they'll print like the colors first, but they'll print like green, purple, and then the black, all the black line art. And you've seen some of these, like sometimes they're off register too, so like they didn't want to get complicated in case the colors didn't match up with the line art, so they just did flat, easy. If it's off a little bit, it's not a big deal. So that's why a lot of the older designs have bigger and chunkier shapes, because you didn't want to do a little tiny collar and then have it be off register, and then what, right? So that's why you have like big chunky. I'm just really in love with the way they like separated this design though and kept it big and chunky, because there is some fun play in the way Marvel does the little repeating tiny lines like on the side of the thighs here. Like there's like 3 little repeating lines here, and they form like one big band. He kind of almost has like a thigh cut out, but black. But it's on the other side too, like these littler lines, and then there's like this big patch of fabric with the texture on it.
For those wondering at home who can't see us because we're not on camera, Heiko is groping Magneto's groin.
No, I'm not, punk. I'm pointing at his thighs, thank you very much. But also, his cod piece is lovely. Because that is definitely a different material. And then we got, of course, the classic, evergreen, big chunky boots. I think the Poiple. I think the only reason they didn't go bigger and chunkier is that it would be really distracting to the balance of how big the top is. So I feel like the boots they're still chunky, but they're pretty form-fitting to his legs, because if they were like what we've seen on some other characters that did have giant boots, he doesn't have enough upward bulk to balance that. Because he's already got thighs for days. I noticed his other ones are built like a brick unit, but once you take all the armor and chunky pieces off, you're just like, shit, damn, he is built like a brick house.
Yup.
It's like Bangi crushed head between thighs, like sparrow's egg. But yeah, I think it's a really great classic design. And then, yeah, there's a lot of little things like a nitpick, but really the big design thing is they're using big, chunkier pieces, so like stuff that would be a little more subtle on other outfits, they have like a big band of purple, or big belts on like the arm gauntlets. I like that they kept like the middle glowy thing too, because he did have like a glowy thing in the center of his outfit, and I don't really know what it was supposed to be. I just remember it being really cool. But I used to be on a lot of his designs. There's kind of some stuff going on behind the collar, but I honestly can't tell because the collar's kind of in the way.
I do kind of like, a lot of the times when you see people with pauldrons or big collars or shoulder armor or whatever, they'll just, in video games, they'll just kind of be floating, like with a hand wave as to, like, this is just a limitation of our ability to animate, like, armor and stuff. But Magneto's got magnet powers. That shit's just floating.
Gets knocked out, half of his pauldrons fall off.
Yup.
Yeah, and there is kind of a interesting combination of like the sort of military sports gear look of more modern stuff. Like the gloves have like two tones, and they have like little knuckle protectors on. So it's kind of interesting. It's just so interesting to me to see like that older, chunky, classic design put in with some of this more modern, like, we want it to feel futuristic, so we're going to use like sports gear, military gear, and a few other things and kind of mesh it all together in a soup. The soup is delicious. I don't know why people hate the horns though. I don't hate them, but I don't know. Like, it seems just like a obvious exaggeration if you want, especially if you want to make his face more eye-catching, to just exaggerate them and make them pop off. But
it's the reason people have problems with this skin, which I think is great, but I also see the problems, is that it's a big departure from the classic Magneto look, despite being shaped like it. Like there's a lot of embellishments, including the horns, and the horns are just the most obvious thing to focus on.
That could be like I was saying, like there's a mesh between like modern Marvel and old school Marvel, which I think is great because I'm not that attached to either one. But if you were attached to old school Marvel, you'd be like, where's my old school skin? Because they have done that for other characters already, where they do like a movie skin or a classic skin. Like, there's a bunch of classic Cap skins that are definitely done in the old style, and they have some of the material treatment, but they're not as much as this one, where they're really deviating from the style to go more Marvel Rivals on it.
This was his launch skin. They're trying to put out more comic accurate skins when they do comic adaptations now, but this was his launch store skin.
Yeah.
So they hadn't stopped embellishing the classic comic skins yet.
And that could have just been like, like a mismatch of what they thought people wanted and what they actually got. And now they're like, oh, wait, people just would go wild to just have the skin.
Yep.
As it actually was. We don't need to really sugarcoat it or anything.
Up next is going to be a classic comic skin.
All right.
But I'm just saying that. I don't think you're done looking at this yet, are you?
I mean, we could look at this man forever, but he's beautiful. But let's go ahead and move to the next one. I don't think I have any other notes I could possibly make.
This is from the Trial of Magneto.
That's a lot of spandex.
That's a lot of spandex. And a giant M.
It's giant something. Oh, the chains are kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
Like, just literally breaking his bonds and then using them to, like, demolish his enemies. Man, though, like, this is kind of odd to look at, because there's, like, wrinkles and stuff in this fabric. Like, on the kneecaps and on the ankles. There's a little bit on where the torso it meets the thighs.
Yeah, you're right. There are wrinkles.
Yeah. Like, part of me feels a little uncomfortable with how form-fitting this stuff is. Like, do you ever, like, that era of, well, we're not old enough to remember this era, but I've seen the pictures, but, like, that era of 80s gym workout things where people would wear the leotards?
Yep.
It feels kind of like that, and I don't know why.
There's a reason that was stereotypical spank bank material in pop culture.
Man, I just realized it's so form-fitting. You can see his belly button.
Oh, wow, yeah. Now that's unnecessary.
Right? I'm just like, wait a minute. They do that a lot in comic books, though, but usually not in this kind of style. Usually they cut it up to look like a costume and not like Spanx. But, they want to show...
And it's also usually on the women.
And the men too, but they want to show the physique, you know. So they have like form-fitting pec and boob socks, you know, and ribs, or abs and stuff show up, and ribs show up, and like literally everything. It's like literally it's just a nude, but it's just drawn with, you know, bright colors on it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of reminds me of like the classic. This is gonna sound a little off, but like the way people would draw classic heroes like Hercules and Greek heroes and all the way up till now, is that if you wanted to show someone being cool and badass and muscular, well, you don't want to put a ton of fabric on them, you fool.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the original Olympics, or they're like, we need to see the physique, so the original Olympics are like in the nude from way back when. So I just feel like this just continues the tradition of like, we need to see the pecs. So, you know, it's just classic.
Oh, they couldn't help themselves. They put the hexagonal pattern on it.
It needed something. It still feels a little uncomfortable, but I think it feels oddly wrinkly. And I know it's there to make it look more realistic, but it's like pick a lane. Like, it's so form-fitting I can see his belly button, but there's wrinkles. Like, I don't know if I would have preferred if it was just smooth, because like I think we could, in one of his arms, I just saw one of his like on the inside of his arm, I think I saw a vein. Or no, maybe it's more wrinkles because it's across the muscles. But maybe it's the color. I don't know. There's something that's like, it feels velvety or something. Like, where did you find this man? Was this at the store or at another store? Be honest. But I also think it's just like, it's so plain on the bottom half. And I don't know if it's because they over designed all the muscles and things, because I could see this working as a flatter design with less texture and, you know, on a graphic comic book style. But when you make it realistic, I start to feel weird about it. Maybe that's just me, that's my personal opinion, but I'm just like, there's too much blank at the bottom. Maybe they should have went like darker with the fabric color. Because it goes like lighter to like, and it gradients down to less saturated. But if it was like a darker, more satiny color, so it felt like a real fabric instead of, I don't know what this is. I really don't. I think that's what's bothering me so much. I'm like, sir, what are you wearing? What? It has like a little hexagon shiny, but also like the color fades out. Like, I don't know, maybe you need a refund on this one and buy a better quality fabric. But
I wasn't expecting this one to disturb you.
I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. Something though is setting me off. Maybe it's just low contrast too compared to the cape, because it is darker than the kind of cape color, but it's not by a lot. So we kind of have like a light color, but kind of a medium color, and maybe I just want it to be more higher contrast. I don't know. I feel like there's probably a simple fix. I do like this material treatment on the cape though. Like, that's kind of fun. It's like it's sewn on or added to it. And I understand that material. And the gloves, I think, actually look pretty nice. I like those. I just noticed they have little knuckle protectors too.
Yeah.
Now I have more questions about what this fabric is. I do like the modeling on the face though, because there's a lot of planes of the face you can see, and a lot of color to it too. Like there's this, and there's like
they really weathered that face.
Yeah, and the point that he doesn't look old. He just looks like he has a lot of dimension, and there's like light highlights of like a yellow skin color, and then there's like brighter oranges as it transitions to shadow. And he's got like wrinkles in his forehead and big old nose with like strong lines coming down to his mouth. Like, there's a lot of character in that face, and it's a really good looking face. I feel like I maybe lingered too long on the outfit, but I was just like, I don't know what to do with it. I kind of wonder if I should see like what this was based off of to make a better assessment of how well they did, because I'm not that familiar with the alternate.
This is pretty much 1-to-1.
1-to-1. The M is that plain.
I think so.
Let
me look this up real quick.
So I feel like the way I'm familiar with some of the comic book styles, like I just feel like the M would have more of a curve and more of larger size. Yeah, like that one is goes like all the way down, but that might be exaggerated for a cover. Can you find one of him just existing in a comic panel?
Let me see.
I know I'm doing some research now. I have to know.
That's from the animated series.
Yeah, there's some like serifs almost on the animated series one, where like the tops of them are kind of more pointed.
I think this might be based more on the animated series version than the comic book version. Now that we're looking at it,
Although I feel very vindicated because both the comic book version and the animated version have black with purple highlights, which is a very dark color. So I feel very vindicated in feeling that this fabric looks like the wrong color. Super, super vindicated. But they could do that in comic books and stuff where they could draw a whole character black. But if they made it more of a black velvet color instead of like a purple meh, I think that would look better.
his bulge would be less obvious, at least.
Some people would complain about that, but yes, it would also be less obvious. And there's a fun thing you can do too. Like he has a thinner waist, but they made him a brick house in this version. But it's kind of like there's a thing they do where like they would, on men especially, they would like cinch the hips so that when they got broad on the top, it would be more like a contrast of shape. Because they would like kind of like a flower blooming. It'd be like, Pwah! And then they bulk on the top, strong, sexy, you know, as one does. But I do like that there's different body shapes and things too. It's just like, I think they should have cut the armholes to accent the bulk of the top of the outfit more and create a better shape. Because even on those ones, it goes over the shoulder on the top, and this one it cinches towards the head.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
So this is one where, like, if you imagine the pink of his skin as a shape that takes up a visual space, they could have played around with the shape of the M and the way it cuts across the body, and the armholes and the way they cut across the body. And I think it would have been slightly better. I would still prefer the black velvet, but I think you could make this color work a bit better, but I would have cut it a little different. It's really close though, and it's pretty good overall. I think they just could have put a little bit more by paying attention to shape, because they have so little to work with. And that's a thing that can happen if you have a simple design. Anything that's slightly off is now going to be really off. If it's a bigger design like some of his previous skins, and there's something that's not perfect, you don't tend to notice it in the grand scheme of thing because there's so much else going on that is really great, right?
Uh-huh.
But since there's really just the M, the cutout of the outfit, and the gloves and his body, that is all you have to work with as far as your shape language and forms. You need to make all of that work like a well-oiled machine. But yeah, I'm glad I got to see the original one, though. I don't know if other people want to look it up and just... What was the Trial of Magneto is what it is?
Yep.
From Uncanny X-Men. So you can kind of see what this design is supposed to be. But I think facial-wise, they did awesome. I think I just would have liked a different cut and a different color for the actual outfit.
Yeah. All right, 3 skins to go.
I know, I talked forever on that one. I told you the fabric was wrong. I knew it.
Up next is King Magnus, which is from the House of M story, I believe, where Scarlet Witch alters reality.
Oh man, I was hoping my brain was in the right place because I'm thinking this feels Russian. And I'm like, yes, vindication.
Well, Eastern European at least.
At least, but it's like the pauldrons with their epaulets is what they're. I hope I pronounced that right. But anyway, that little fringes on there, and like the big royalty jewelry is insane. Like giant, big gems stolen from other lands. And the gloves have a fun treatment too, because they're like these big bulky things. But I love the big plate on the back of the hand, because that feels like he's still flexible, but it's kind of dangerous, bulky looking. This is a really fun design to play with. I'm really impressed how well they've tied in the armor by making it look like clothing still. That's really impressive. Because it even still kind of has the collar, and big gems and jewelry make up more of the armor bit than, you know, like his other one where he had the three circles.
Uh-huh.
And then they're using epaulets instead of pauldrons to still fit the clothing vibe. And then so the bottom half can be actual fabric without it looking like, why does he have half armor and half fabric? They're using all those other design languages and still keeping it in that mold. That's really clever. I also love the little accent of the, I don't know what they're called, the little metal thing with the fabric. I'm sure there's a specific name for those and a history for those, but I'm not that familiar. But I love it's a little punch of color. And it's a more of a violet red than the other red accents, so it's really eye-catching. Kind of to me visually, like I go to like big red gem in the center, and then I kind of go, whoop, oh cool, and then to his face. You know, as I say, necklace, little medallion, face. There's also a lovely treatment in golds too, because they're using some really desaturated kind of yellow oranges, kind of a gold desaturated, and it's used on a lot of the fabric, so that all the other accents like the metal and like the filigree kind of striping on the clothing can really pop, because you really just have desaturated yellow and gray, and they use the desaturated on the shoes too.
Yep.
It always cracks me up though when they get to shoes on some outfits that are not like the traditional superhero fit, because they're like, oh no, now I gotta do some kind of shoes, but it can't be old-fashioned shoes because we're in the future. So they gotta be some kind of like weird loafer with like metal you know, bottoms or something. Like it's kind of funny because they're mixing like, you know, medieval and like something from the 19th or 20th century, and then like the year 2060 or whatever.
As an aside, it is horrifying that we're a quarter of the way through the 21st century already. What is time?
You're horrified by time. I try to ignore it.
The 20th century was more than 25 years ago.
Yeah, the 20th century is going to continue for 100 years. I don't think you have to worry. Oh man, there's also, this is fun for me, is like there's kind of a blue, almost blue-green accent for another color, and it looks really nice. Because we have red and yellow are close to each other. Let's see, blue-green, or blue. Blue's opposite is orange, so blue-green is probably, might be yellow-orange. Not really good with doing the like compliments on the tertiary colors, but that seems right to me, because if we're doing like the way these colors are mixed, gold is usually a little bit more warmer than base yellow, so we're usually talking yellow-orange. Just really desaturated and shiny. And so to bring that other color as a cool color is just looking nice. And they mixing it with like dark gray as a surface treatment and like reflection, so it feels really velvety. It's like a nice fabric treatment. And so there's just a little bit of saturation to it, but not very much. And I think that's the only other additional color besides all the golds and reds. Everything else is going to be a gray. And it's kind of a cool gray too, because I see a lot of greens and shiny in it. And like as far as them adding green and purple paint splotches here and there. But only a slightly cold. I think they really kept it as a almost real neutral. It's just cold enough so it doesn't feel too warm with all the warm colors, I think. Man, this is so fun. I like the gauntlets too, because like there's some fabric treatment with the filigree on the inside and the outside, but then they have these big thick metal lines with rivets and things, and then like they get a little fancier on this side. There is a little crisscross X that's smaller, and there's another one inside between the gap for X-Men. Did you see it?
I do.
Good. I was thinking also it kind of makes an arrow that points up, so when you do see it, it's kind of like an arrow pointing. Then it has kind of a classic arrow texture on the edge of the epaulet. Or epilat. I gotta learn how to pronounce that word.
Epaulet, I think. But I don't know either. I think it's French.
It's
I think it's French.
You think it's French?
Yeah.
This is the American education system at work. What are words? I'm terrible with it though. I was a reader, so I didn't do a lot of speaking, so there were some very strange pronunciations I learned just from reading too much. I like that little bit of gold on the edge of the cape too.
Yeah.
And they're using really, oh, that's a cool pattern too. I was gonna say, like, the gems are like straight, bright, saturated red. Every other red, especially the fabric reds, are kind of like this pinky, violet, desaturated, but not a ton, but just enough. Feels great on, and it allows like a lot of the more saturated yellows and reds to pop, while still making the outfit ultimately very colorful. This is like a really good case of subtleties of color, because we have a lot of desaturated colors that are really punching up and being super colorful to me. Like the desaturated red, the desaturated blue-green, the desaturated yellows, really letting all the other colors sing. Let's look at the back of the cape, just because it was so cool. Because they're using some of those like filigree patterns.
there's a pattern, a subtle pattern, as well, not just the gold.
Yeah, not just the gold. That's why I said it was so cool. We're gonna look at it again, because it has another hidden pattern that's in the reflective, I believe.
There is no way in hell you'd be able to see that outside of the costume inspection menu that we're in right now. They put that there just for the love of the game.
They put a lot of stuff in these costumes just for the love of the game, because you're not going to see a lot of this stuff when you're getting sniped. It's got some fun shapes too, because I just noticed the jewelry has like this big back centerpiece that almost kind of reminds me of Fleur, but it's not. And then it's like big square gem, X-Men, big square gem. It does that on the front too, doesn't it? Yeah, I think I see some of the X-Men medallions. There's only 2 you can see from this angle. And then a big Magneto medallion because it has his helmet on it, which is a great way to bring back the helmet without having it on him, since he's not in like a traditional like armor costume. This is supposed to be clothing, but battle clothing.
Yeah, like ceremonial clothing.
Mm-hmm. This would be a great skin. If I was playing, I'd be tempted to play this one. I also love how the cape is really low set too, because they do this big U shape to really elongate the back, and also it gives the impression that the cape is draping low.
Yeah.
It's not, but it gives that shape impression of it being hung up on 2 little like points and draping, ceremoniously upon his back. And the only other place I can think of is to see if we can peek of anything behind his back, which we usually can't, but his belt has a little bit of extra detail. It's hard to see though. It's like a little loop or something there, where the gold loops around. Yeah, I think the belt actually might have a full loop, because the front has a loop too. Right here is little like kind of gray loops.
Yep.
It's kind of a traditional belt, except I don't know how the other end is holding on to itself magically, but
yeah.
Maybe he's magneted it.
He would.
He would. But yeah, this kind of medallion makes me curious too, like the history of the character, because it makes him feel like he's been awarded or, recognized. Or it could just be like royalty too, because that was another thing. Royalty would wear like special medallions for ceremonies and special occasions.
Well, the skin is called King Magnus, so.
Yeah, but oops. I knocked something over. But yeah, it's just a lot of nice little storytelling without knowing the title and other things. I mean, you told me a little bit of the context, but I even picked up that this was not like English royalty from the design costume, which is awesome. And that means like, they sat down and they did some like probably some design or inspiration of some kind and used it for this. But yeah, this is a really good one. I like it quite a lot.
Yeah. It is unfortunately a Battle Pass skin, so unless they bring that Battle Pass back, which they have done before, it is unavailable to people.
Oh no.
But, oh well.
Better jump on it when it comes back in rotation.
Yeah.
It's a cool skin. You want to look fly.
Speaking of cool skins,
Oh, this is
Ultron infected.
Ultra infected. Yeah. What an interesting concept of a magnetic guy being Ultron infected. How did he manage that one?
Nanomachines.
Are they not magnetic? Non-magnetic nanomachines. He never saw it coming. These ones are always so chaotic in like a really fun way, and I don't know if they work in teams or not, or if someone designs similar ones. But they're always so interesting, balanced the way they do the asymmetry. So I'm gonna kind of jump into the big picture and see what we do. Because like right away, first thing I noticed, big red section of his body is like entirely big block of red, and it's like right in half. Which it's even reflected on the leg as well. But you zoomed in and no one can see. But the thighs have it too, as this big red spot. So actually the asymmetry has symmetry. It's cupping to the same side in a way. Then it has like a big center round piece. And then he has more skin on one side and more metal on the other side. But I'm noticing that there's a lot of dark grays on the skin side. And it's more shiny silver on the other side as far as the way they're dividing this. And then I like that the belt is also off-center. Like the X isn't centered to everything else. So it's kind of fun. Like we got a center medallion, but an off-center belt, and like there's big mechanical tubes coming off of it that are also very asymmetrical and chaotic. Because it is like an infection, so it shouldn't look ordered and like tidy. It's like mechanics.
Here's something I just noticed: his feet, the asymmetry there.
Yeah, he has like claw feet on one, and then a regular boot on the other.
Only 4 toes, though.
They took one of his toes! He also has some black fingers that are like starting to be infected, but they haven't really turned mechanical yet. They're just covered in like a nano skin material. You see it?
Yep.
Yeah. And the other one is all clawed. One thing I was thinking is like he actually doesn't have a costume really in this one.
Yeah, he's naked as hell. I believe
Except
the lore is that he had just popped out of the Krakoa resurrection chamber when he got infected.
Oh, it wasn't just he was caught in the bathroom
Nope.
taking a shower?
No, Ultron was attacking the Hellfire Gala.
Ah.
That's how the infected people got infected.
He was just mad he wasn't invited. I always love to do like the exaggerated circle on the jaws, so like you have like this kind of space where your teeth are normally at, but they really exaggerate it so it can be a perfect mechanical circle. Also, he has like a large iris on his mechanical eye, so he's like really eye-catching. Did they make the other eye like almost pale or just all white? I can't really tell.
It's all white.
It's all white. Great, and the eyes like rolled back into his head like That's my canon theory. Oh, they like, oh, there's this big kind of, it's on the side of his cheek, but this is a big arrow-shaped metal piece. Kind of reminds me of his helm a little bit. Not exactly one-to-one, but it has that kind of shape of framing his face and and sticking off right by the ear.
When you see Ultron, that thing will make more sense. That's an Ultron feature.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, it does make you wonder if they would be not like one-to-one aligned, but I feel like some of their motivations are a little similar, and that they're both very mad at the world, but for different reasons.
Yeah, different reasons, different motivations, different outcomes.
Yeah, but like I feel like personality-wise, they have some crossover in like how they feel. You know, they hurt me, they must be destroyed. I also like that there's a kind of this big mound on the pec that has full of tubes and things. It feels like really gnarly. There's like a good body horror accents in a lot of the Ultron things, of the things that should be solid, but they're full of metal and tubes and blah.
Yep.
There's also this fun motif down here, like we're in the red section. There's like these 3 metal bits that kind of do the sides of his torso. It shows you the shape of the form, because otherwise it'd be kind of flat. Because there's no definition like under the rib. Well, there actually is some definition. Now I look closer. There's low contrast definition of the rib cage in like a light orange. I just noticed. but that other darker accent keeps it a little bit stronger, so you don't lose the form of his body, because they're heroic. You gotta show all the muscles. But I do like the big metal pieces doing like the abs here in like a repeating, like almost trapezoid shape, and then like the hips have these bigger swoops and metal pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The cod piece is back, but it's less noticeable this time because it's the same metal. And then they're using the tubing a lot to, especially on like the mechanical arm, to show tendons and muscles and form. So you can see the tubes are like following the shape of the arm. Some of them are in the right muscle group, some of them are not, but they're following the form of where the arm would be. So I think like there's not really like a tube that's going to start from your elbow here and go towards your wrist in that way, because there has to be a connection point. But there's definitely some muscle groups that are similar to that, or like underneath the elbow here is like a big metal piece that makes that shape. I really like the kind of that Kevlar effect again, using like the bicep the muscles there. And then we have like the big pauldron shape one, but that one's cool because it's kind of like this big, very solid round shape. But then they put like giant U-shaped tubes sticking here and there on the back, but then they make them smaller in the front because we do want some contrast. We can't just put giant tubes everywhere while willy-nilly. So it's like, if you have big tubes, you better go around and put a little bit of smaller tubes. And I love that there's like kind of this one wild tube popping out of the pec area that's not in line. You can do a thing, like if most of your stuff is ordered, like the torso is very ordered, and like it's smooth across the pecs until we get to that one bulky area where there's a lot more texture and detail. So you can go kind of a pattern of like less, not less detail, but less chaos, more order. And then you can contrast the order with more chaos. And I love that occasionally they just go buck wild and they put like one red cable.
Yep.
Especially it works great on this side because the other side already has a ton of red. The other side doesn't hardly have a lot at all.
It actually goes all the way to the back and plugs into one of those see-through red ports.
Yeah, he has like one in his back that we can't really see well because it's behind the cape, but I see it.
Again, modeled for the love of the game.
For the love of the game. They're just in case they ever add capeless features in the future. They got it covered.
Yeah.
Oh, cool that the back of his cape still has his insignia alignment that he had on his other outfits. It just has been infected with some designs. Ooh, this is a simpler example of that complex to less complex concept too, because we have a lot of density on the top half and part of the side on the, it'd be our right but his left, I think. Is that right? No, it'd be his right too. He's on the back. Anyway, on the right side you can see it's a little more of the darker shapes, but then they get really far apart and sparse as we get towards the outside of the emblem, and even towards the whole bottom of the cape is mostly left light. And that's kind of the same design idea they're using for the body. It's like you can be really dense, like the really weird wires poking out and chaotic, and then we can be more open and simple so that the eye has a place to rest or get out of the chaos here and there. Because if you do 100% or all chaos, then your design doesn't match and nothing goes together. If you do no chaos, then it's like, oh, that's super easy to understand. This design feels kind of boring. And you can go different ways. Like you can do like super simple, easy, like that black and yellow outfit, right? Like super, like simple, to the point, beautiful. You can also do chaotic, but you gotta control that chaos. And like both designs are great designs. They're just using different language.
Ironically, the best way to depict chaos in an appealing form is to very carefully design it.
Yeah, very carefully controlled chaos. But because it's really funny, even if you are not an artist or a person who studies this stuff, we are just so prone to finding patterns and similarities that we instinctively know if something doesn't feel great. Like, you don't see the Galactus skins that often, like you said, unless someone just really loves that color palette.
I did see somebody get MVP with Invisible Woman's Galactus skin, but like I said, that's the best one.
The best one, yeah. But like you can see it in other games too that aren't Marvel rivals, where there's just some things that are less popular, and you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, I can see why.
Yeah.
And you don't have to know why. You just kind of feel it. When you can describe it though, it's really interesting. So you can describe like, oh, the colors don't go together, or like someone put an RPG character. I always forget the game, but it had like so many belts. And it's not a Final Fantasy character, by the way.
I was about to say, are you looking at Lulu?
No, it was worse than that. It was probably someone inspired, but didn't apply the idea in a way that worked.
Yeah, like people
Like-
make fun of Nomura's belts, but they're usually designed in a way that's visually appealing.
Yeah, they don't make sense, but they visually they make sense. But this was one where like too much going on, too much of this, too much of that, and you just didn't know where to look on this character, and it was just the character. And that's when you have to figure out like where is the eye going to rest, what parts. So we talk about elements of art a lot, but we have principles too, which is really just a way of saying what's the relationship between these elements. So things like I'm talking about here is like, okay, we have harmony and disharmony, which is like how much stuff has got some similarities, like the color palettes or the shape language, and how much is disharmonious, how much of it doesn't match. You're supposed to use both. But if you have too much of one or the other, you have, like I said, too easy to read, boring, too complex to read, ugly. Like, it's hard to look at. Take it away. And this is just a fun design that does that disharmony really well.
Speaking of disharmony, it kind of strikes me, and I'd like your thoughts on this. It kind of strikes me that this costume is doing the same thing that the shit symbiote Iron Man costume does, but it does it well. And I wonder what you think is the difference.
Oh, the symbiote, and it's been a while since we looked at that, but when we looked at that one of them was the color palette didn't go very well.
Uh-huh.
Even taking away the point of like the color of the symbiote, they put like some kind of weird like forest hunter green, it's like a blue green, which did not go with the yellow, desaturated yellow, so it made it look even more poopy because it was with this bright color. And I'm like, if we already have this like kind of poopy, desaturated yellow, let's put that with other colors that might actually match, like reds and oranges. Or if we do want to do cool colors to contrast, let's pick really desaturated ones, maybe even more desaturated than the yellow, so the yellow looks brighter.
Uh-huh.
So that was like a bad color language. And then there was a few areas where, when we're talking about like this Ultron fit here, like we have a really good balance between areas that have a lot of chaos and areas that don't. So we talked about like this red midriff area versus like the chaos in the chest and the arm area. And we have like all gray on the opposite side of that red torso. And then it's kind of balanced with, there's not a lot of red on this whole other uninfected side. And it's used sparingly as kind of an accent to balance the more chaotic side. So we have kind of some interest in places to rest. The other one doesn't do that as well, and it didn't match the theme because he was in some kind of weird fantasy armor too. Was that right?
He was in like corrupted Iron Man armor or something.
Yeah.
We can go look.
Yes, let's go look. I want to say the armor was kind of weird too. We're gonna go backwards in time. No. Yeah.
God, I forgot it was a legendary too.
Yeah, I was like, sick, a dragon, and then it all went downhill after that.
Yeah, no, that's just a suit of Iron Man armor that's been corrupted.
Oh, I think maybe I got the fantasy vibe from it because the symbiote adds like these points and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's kind of the curly, naturey aspect of the symbiote. And he was on like a purpley iron color.
Am I crazy for thinking that the two skins do kind of the same idea as far as like the chaos and asymmetry goes, but with very different quality execution?
Yeah, because like this is very irregular. There's some asymmetry. There's not a lot in the center though, but you can see it in the arms and the way the extra details are. But it's not balanced particularly well. And like one arm is more, goobery, whatever. They tried a little bit of it in that they have a bigger shape on the shoulder than on the hand, but it's just not nearly as satisfying. In even color control, when we're talking about those accents color, those are red on the Ultron suit, we have like neon green, and then some kind of blue green for his Iron Man powers of all things, which are usually more of a white or a yellow or a fire color. Which actually could have been sick, right? On like a symbiote. And I don't know if this was ever. Does it say? It says first appears in King in Black #2. Can we look that up? We never did. Now I'm curious.
Let me see.
It's King in Black 2020 Iron Man. Yeah, he looks pretty infected in that one. Holy shit! How did they bug this up so bad? You guys gotta go look at this design. We didn't do this in the Iron Man episode, but the picture he just pulled up looks kind of like the first one looked like almost like Geiger-esque alien textures with like cool black silver armor, some copper colors, and then like the symbiote is like kind of root colored. There's no greens or anything. Where'd they get green from? It's all like fire, doom. It looks like a...
It's incredibly metal, is what it is.
I was like, my first impression is like a Meatloaf album cover where like the bat out of hell is like... like, this would fit, and I wouldn't even blink an eye. And like an eyelid at that. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know how they got that out of that. And I'm not saying they have to copy one-to-one. But I'm just thinking, like, how'd you
fuck that up?
Yeah, because we had some good punk metal designs in some of the other characters. They should have gave it to that artist. They would have known the assignment. They'd have been like, hell yeah.
All right, there is one more Magneto skin, and it's my favorite.
Okay, now that we got back on topic.
First off, it's really cool, but the real reason it's my favorite is the reason I alluded to earlier. Check out his left arm. Let me zoom in.
Yeah, the numbers.
Yep, he's got his concentration. They had the balls to put his concentration camp tattoo on him, and like that, I respect that. That's a level of true to the character and ballsy in our current climate that I really respect.
And this is a Marvel Rivals skin. This is not based on anything.
Yeah, this is reimagining him if he'd lived to 2099 timeline.
Nice. Let's look at big picture first, because I always like to do that just to see the whole costume. So we're keeping the classic colors. We're finally back! We're back!
It is wild that he's only got 2 purple and red skins out of 9.
Mm-hmm. I love that there's like this big like M, but it's like got this cool treatment of a hologram on top, so it kind of like has this cool 3-dimensional effect. But that red M shape and the shape on his chest is kind of repeated again in the thighs.
Yeah.
Can you kind of see it? It's kind of like, because I feel like the M kind of obscures some of it. So the first red shape I kind of see is that under shape underneath the M that kind of makes a downward V, and then so then we have another downward V. And then that's it for red. And they're like red, psh, keep it simple. There's a little bit on the arm, I guess. There's one more. But it looks like they kept it pretty simple there and just let the purple do the talking. And everything else is like a value change. I just noticed he has a hologram backing to his coat.
Oh, I never noticed that. That's fun. Cyber coat.
Yeah. Cyber. So we have silver and purple and black, or more of a gray, really. It's not black.
You always have the artist specification that the stuff that every layman would call black, you call gray. I've noticed that, and I've meant to tease you about it, but it's never come out.
Well, like, there's dark gray, and then there's black, okay?
I'm not saying you're wrong,
the goths,
but it is funny.
The goths know I'm right. There's dark gray, and then there's black.
Yeah.
We've seen some other outfits that I would call black, but I think this is a dark gray coat with really some really fun designs. It kind of has like, he has the big collar, and it's kind of open, but I also like that there's this padded texture of like a secondary collar, and that's kind of what his pauldrons are floating over. And they're also pretty gigantic, but I think it was a pretty cool idea to make the back sides of them dark gray, so that the actual silver accents don't kind of overwhelm. You get like the shape of it without getting this kind of other silver accent taking up more visual space. And then They say he's like the gloves are off and on the one arm, just like the other glove goes full. Imagine meeting his other versions of himself being like, "Why is your arm covered?"
The X-Men 3, the old movie, the old X-Men 3 movie was pretty terrible, but it does have some really good stuff with Magneto, especially the moment where another heavily tattooed mutant asks him where his mark is if he's a mutant, and he says, "I have been marked once, my dear, and no ink shall ever touch my skin again," and shows her his concentration camp tattoo.
That's like, it was terrible? That was news to me. I liked those movies.
The first two were good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the third one that sucked.
Oh, okay. I was just like, what happened? Did I just not know?
I will say I don't particularly respect the first two X-Men movies because they were ashamed to be comic book movies, but they were good.
Yeah, I liked them. Anyway, back on task. I noticed the fun thing, they're doing a lot more of a magenta, brighter purple towards the top, and then letting it fade down to a darker purple as it gets towards the bottom.
I just realized how greebled the purple, the non-coat part of his outfit is, and I usually say that as a complaint, but I kind of like it here.
Yeah. There's also like this nice repeating line because they have like the collar V shape, we have the padded V shape, we have a couple other extra V shapes just to make sure you didn't notice there was a big V shape. So he has like this big V shaped front that's really fun for this kind of broad shouldered character. But can you see how they added even like extra segments down here?
Yep.
And there's like one that goes the other direction that makes like a more of a sleeve underneath the coat. I love that they just add extra stuff, and like this would not make sense on a real garment, but
but it's Marvel Rivals. It's meant to look cool.
I just realized this belt buckle phases through the coat though on the side right here.
Oh, it does.
Oops.
Whoops.
I didn't realize it wasn't attached.
It doesn't phase through on this side.
Nope, it must be a mistake on that one. It looks like because that one actually moves around with the coat.
Yeah.
So they must have missed that one.
Well, skin ruined.
Yep,
Thanks.
It's ruined. Sorry. It's broken. Get a refund. The back has the same V shape too, a lot of it. Even down through the tail of the coat too.
Yeah.
Should we spin around, see the tail? Oh, cool. It's got a split too. Yeah, I like that. They keep the bell shape, and I like that the front kind of make this tassel look because they're longer and they go downwards. So you get this kind of extra, like, it makes it really 3D because we can see the shape of it really well. I also like that his weapon in this one, it looks like it's just straight up blades that are rotating around on like a rail.
Oh yeah.
It looks very dangerous. Like the other ones look like he's like kind of refined a bunch of metal together and it's all kind of haphazard.
This looks like a weapon.
This is a guy who this is like honed to perfection and it's purpose built for what he uses it for. And he's like, I have a blade wheel, don't mess with me, punk.
Kind of like Bahamut in Final Fantasy X.
And I like the way they're using the silver accents. There's kind of like pauldron to pauldron, you moved him, pauldron to pauldron, elbow, belt, and then kneecaps.
Yeah.
And like some of the accents are toned down, like the belt buckle is still silver, but it's like toned a shade down. So they're really controlling a lot of the neutral gray colors. The boots have a nice... I like this kind of shape on the boot where it shows where the foot starts and the ankle ends. Not a lot of them seem to do that. It works really well here when he's floating. Because most of the other heroes, they're standing or something, so it's a little more obvious, but I like that shape quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it feels like softer and more like a... This feels like not like military-esque as much as the other ones. Like it feels like a softer like hiking boot. So this feels like this is just the fashion at the time and he's just a guy.
Yeah.
With pauldrons.
Can't forget the pauldrons.
So yeah, there is a little bit of like, armor to it, but I like there's a little bit of a more casual kind of fashion look to it.
If it didn't have the pauldrons, it would just look like Cyberpunk Magneto, and I think it's a resounding success on that front.
Yeah. They need to make a skin where the pauldrons can fly off and do like... I'm just saying. I can see why this is one you like a lot, though. It's really nice, and it shows like there's like some cool geometric shapes too on the thighs too. That it's cut up the body in a way that's less soft and round. So it's a fun way to like say this is the future, because we don't tend to do fashion in geometrics. So that's sometimes why you see a lot of kind of geometric cut designs in science fiction, because they're like, okay, we need to make a future design, but we want to make it look like something that hasn't happened yet. Therefore, we have to pick some design language that, you know, fabric wouldn't typically do, which fabric is soft, and so fabric usually does more flowing shapes. It can get very fitted, but that depends on how good your tailor is. More casual, you know, everyday looks are not going to be fitted in those ways. Alrighty. You said this is the last one?
That is the last one. Do you have anything more to say about it?
I don't think so, but it feels like there should be more. He's a really popular character.
Well, he's got 9. That's one of the most.
Is it? It felt like so few.
Well,
I guess
a few of them are recolors.
Yeah, some of them are recolors. That doesn't count.
Yeah, fair.
That's just the same outfit more times with different colors.
All right, let's look at the MVPs. Then I'll have you pick a favorite MVP and then a favorite costume.
Okay. Oh, shit. I didn't know he was going to bring out the sword. That was pretty cool. I was also really unexpected.
That's one of his team-up moves.
Ah.
All right, that's his default. Here's the Ultron infected one.
I'm gonna say, if this is a person's favorite skin, they might be a little psychotic. Just casually beheads a robot.
Also, that's spoiling one of Ultron's alternate costumes.
Makes a sword out of it.
Yep. Here's King Magnus.
Not what I would have expected.
Not very punchy.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, is he gonna do something? And he's like, sup.
Yeah.
Isn't he? It's not even like a cool, you know, royal pose or anything. He's just like, sup.
Mm-hmm. Here's Trial of Magneto.
Oh, they have him in the chains, like in the comic book cover. Wow, they just try to execute him at his trial. That was kind of cool.
Here is probably the coolest one. His...
Oh, spoil it, why don't you? Oh, cool. That is pretty cool, actually.
Right? And here's the Temporal Tyrant one.
Ooh. I like the weight of that, like, stop at the top where the shoulders kind of bounce.
Yeah, this one is definitely... You know, looking at this more, I think this is my favorite. Just like the base costume.
I think I really like the animation on this one, but I think as far as like what it is, I really enjoy the classic X-Men one.
This one?
Yeah.
Now that's intimidating.
Yeah. I think the only thing I wish they had done and they didn't is that the background's just the generic background. If they just put a skybox or something with like some smoke, I think that would have been cooler.
Yeah.
Like going from like yellow to like this blue or something. They didn't, but otherwise I really like the effects, and the end pose is like really fun.
Yeah.
The Ultron one's pretty good too, but it's mostly the beginning is better than the end.
It just rips him in half.
I know, I was like, you should have ended with that, jeez.
So, is this one your favorite? Or is Temporal Tyrant?
Yeah, I think I like Temporal Tyrant a little bit more. Only because it feels very bossy.
You're right, the bounce when he stops moving is very good.
Because he's just like, fingers. Right? Like here, he's just like, phew, bitch. Boom. That's right. MVP.
All right, let me see if there's any emotes that are interesting.
Magneto is his own master.
Oh, he has a sword emote. Oh, he has a lot of unique emotes, doesn't he? It's kind of funny he pulls out his classic helm. He can chain himself like the Crimes.
That's an endless emote, by the way. It lasts until you move.
I like that it's titled Crimes Against Humanity. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's Xavier.
Yep.
That's cute.
I think this is the Galactic emote. I'm not sure.
Default. Magnetic steps. You ever feel like you're trying to walk and never getting anywhere?
I think that one's an endless emote too, so it'll just keep going, but I'm not sure. This big head. That one's an endless one. I know that. Alright, so, which is your favorite Magneto?
Ooh. Let's see. You know, I'm kind of between. This is going to sound funny, but I'm kind of between the King version and the recolored
The gold one?
gold one.
Really? You liked the gold one that much?
It's just well executed and it looks nice. But I think I like that one more. I'm just a real sucker for subtle color use.
King Magnus, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the elements are put together so well in the way that they're integrated here. That like you can't really find a lot of weak spots in this one. Plus, I really like that there's an extra treatment of the cape on the back because that's the part of the character you're probably seeing the most. Like this feels like it looked cool. Like he looks cool from the front for the the character select, and he looks cool like in game. Like I know it's probably zoomed in, but like that's a cool cape.
Very much so.
So yep, that's my final answer.
King Magnus. I was kind of expecting you to say the robot one, but
The robot is pretty good, but I liked some of the other ones more on some of the other characters. But it's still really good. One thing I did appreciate they did in this one is when he's done doing his animation, is that his weapon also has like tubes and things in it.
yeah.
And is Ultron coated.
All right, well.
But I think some of the other characters, they still have their parts of their costume. They really didn't integrate any part of his costume into the Ultron version.
Yeah.
Which I know you
Well,
said it was
because he just popped out of the resurrection pod buck naked.
So they say. Because of lore reasons. But I'm just going from design perspective, So if they want him buck naked, they live their life. Just they just gave the people what they wanted. Buck naked Magneto. All right.
Well, that's been Magneto. Hopefully we'll get the next one out sooner than later, and it'll be Mantis. Mantis has some cool costumes that I think you'll like.
That should be fun. I like that character in the movies, and actually she looks so cute in this intro one.
She's great in Marvel Rivals. She's very peppy and positive.
Nice.
But yeah, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.